The other day, yesterday, I spoke about a spillover, or used the image of water nourishing all these plants and it just pouring over the edge and then bringing back to life this kind of dead-looking plant. Well, today I wouldn't use that image. I'd use the image of an explosion. Or I'm thinking when we saw the reports of Mount Helena, I think it was, that the volcano in the northwest that blew. And when it did, it was sputtering and lava was coming out and it was sparks and everything. And then suddenly, boom, and this huge explosion ripped off the top of the mountain and sent boulders flying everywhere. It's an explosion. And that's what this first reading sounds like today, an explosion of healing and grace and life and more abundant fruitfulness and food and everything that could possibly happen as these waters start coming out of the temple, and they're getting higher up to the knees and up to the thighs, and everything is becoming fruitful because of the water from the temple. And of course, we as Catholic Christians can't help but think of our fountain of baptism. Those are the waters that bring life and fruitfulness and healing and remission of sin and just give us everything that is the beginning, the good start of a wonderful faith. And then there is another image of water in the gospel today, but this one different. The people, the ill, the sick, the desperate people, the people whose lives were broken by problems and pain, came to the temple, lay there, and surely they were begging for limosnas, and they were there to get help. But there was also a pool there that had healing powers. And every once in a while, when the waters would stir up, whoever got in there first got healed, apparently. And then we get this inside story in the middle of that. There's a man there that was 38 years ill, 38 years. And so innocently and desperately, he just wanted to be able to get into those waters when the water was stirred up, believing that he would be healed, but he could never do it. And no one helped him. No one helped him. And then typically, the compassionate Jesus comes along, sees him, and realizes how he just does. This man has been ill a long time. So he simply says to him, "Do you want to be well? Do you want to be well?" And then everything happens. There's another explosion. Now, he doesn't get into the waters, nothing dramatic. Jesus just says, "Pick up your mat and walk." And he does. And he does. Now you would think word would go out again about this Jesus. Look, he just speaks, and this man, 38 years ill, suddenly is healed. And wouldn't that be an act of God? But some of those Jews who hated Jesus already, it says, began now to persecute him. They were already in Jerusalem, and for the scriptures, that's the way, the place where Jesus is going to go for his death. He's already there, and now they're preparing for the cross. What it makes me think is that the way of healing and life and love and peace necessarily always involves the cross, because ultimately the cross is where it finally happens in a very powerful way and in a profound way. You see, if Jesus on the cross had hated, we would have accepted it. They deserved to be hated by the Christ, but he didn't. He loved. And somehow the cross is the culmination. It's the apex. It's the climax of a journey of faith. When we get to the cross, and we get to lots of them in our lives, but when we get there, the question is, do we become bitter, or better? And that's what the cross does. It challenges us. Can we love in the face of the cross? Can we? Can we forgive in the face of the cross? And I think all the little crosses along the way in our life are there for us when the big ones come. And again, if you saw the awards the other night, when it says the slap that was heard around the world, when Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith, he could have hated. He didn't. Well, I don't know what was going on inside of him, but he let it go with a joke. and laughter and a smile. Now that, to me, again, it's maybe he was just being professional. Maybe he was just saving face. I don't know. But, how many of us could be slapped publicly in front of everybody and forgive the person, not press charges? Pretty interesting. So today, I think, as we come closer now to Holy Week, where we're going to be asked to take a good look at our lives, ourselves. How are we? Who are we? What are we? What are we willing to do or become? Please stand. As Jesus invites us to follow him, we turn our hearts and our minds to the Father and present our petitions before him.